everyone, it's Jai452 back again inside the land of cosplay, rummaging around and seeing what we can find on Inside Cosplay. Joining me this week is my very special guest, the one and only UK Grayson. Hi Grayson, how are you?
Hi, hello. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Not a problem at all. So we're just going to jump right in there, and I'm going to ask you, when did you first start cosplaying?
I started cosplaying about properly like 2 years ago when I first started it with the armor. That was when I first started cosplaying.
Awesome. And do you remember what your first cosplay was?
It was Nightwing, just not as good.
Great. Who or what inspires you to cosplay?
I went to con and I saw a load of people cosplaying and spoke to them after. And they were just really interesting people, and it was a fun thing to do, and it was a hobby that I thought I'd be interested in, so I just took it up.
Awesome. Is there any particular cosplayers that you follow on social media that inspired you?
Oh, there's loads who I follow. Not so much for inspiration, but just because they're interesting to see. There are so many.
Could
So
you
many.
maybe name drop, say...
The one I'm a part
Three of
of, Quantum Cosplay, they're very good.
Mm-hmm.
There's King Tide, he's very good. And also Katia Fern. They're three who are off the top of my head, but there are hundreds more.
Awesome. Have you had the opportunity to meet any of these cosplayers in person?
Yeah, all of them. They're
Awesome.
really, really great people.
Have you... do a lot of them still cosplay to this day?
Yeah, all of them are still going, and all of them still really enjoying it.
Awesome. Have you ever done any collaborations with any of them?
I'm always working with Quantum Cosplay because they're like the people I started with.
Mm-hmm.
That will never change. I hope to do more, but like I said, I've only really been doing it like kind of 2 years now, so I hope to get more collaborations in.
Awesome. What has been to date? Well, what has been the most challenging cosplay that you've done to date, both from the making of the costume as well as the acting side? Because there's a little bit of acting involved in cosplay, whether it be how the character speaks, or how they move, or just generally how they might interact with the general public. So let's talk about from the making of the costume to date. Who or what has been the most challenging cosplay for you? So what's been the most challenging cosplay that you've done from the making of it to like up to date, you know?
Definitely Nightwing. It had a lot of elements involved in it. Plastic, undersuits, foam. It had a lot of things to match and paint and put together well. It was definitely the most challenging.
Okay. And who has been the most challenging from an acting standpoint?
Probably Nightwing again, because there's things glued on your face, so you can't really have that much a range of emotion, but still have to get the character across.
Was there anything specifically that you did to prepare for Nightwing?
Not really. I was a Nightwing comic book fan, so I already knew the story. I kind of knew the mannerisms. I knew the character well enough already.
Okay. And in addition to, obviously, the acting side, you've not had to do much preparing for that, but is there anything in particular you've had to do for preparation to make his costume? Is there any particular aspect to the costume that you needed to learn before making it?
Not really. It was all kind of trial, error, and a lot of help from my friends.
Okay. I know a lot of cosplayers would be quite... what's the word I'm looking for? Nervous about doing the kind of armor build right off the bat. That's something that a lot of people say, oh, you need to build up to something like that because it is quite challenging. Would you agree with that statement, or do you have a different outlook?
Like I said, I had a lot of help from my friends at Quantum, like a lot of help. But all the information is available online, so there's no real right or wrong way. It's trial and error and just deciding that you're going to go ahead and do it.
Okay. When you've been researching stuff for Nightwing, obviously you've done the comic book side of things. Have you integrated any of the video game aspects or the animated series kind of aspects? Like, would you try to match the kind of voice that those guys are using, or some of the moves that he uses in the video games?
Well, for me, because it's armor, it meant that doing any moves was a definite no-go. But I always did try to get... There is a certain voice of Nightwing that I like, that I have tried to imitate. I'm not going to do it now because I've had a sore throat.
That's fine. When I say moves, obviously I'm not meaning like full backflips or anything. Just like
you mean like poses and things, yeah.
When you've been doing Nightwing, have you ever considered doing the kind of almost what I like to refer to as the jumpsuit, kind of wetsuit idea, so that you could do like the poses a little bit better, or is that something that you just think no?
Well, you know what, because that is essentially his suit. It's just all black with the emblem on it, but. A lot of people have done that and done it really, really well. I wanted to do something different. Like,
awesome.
Like my Nightwing was different.
Yeah, you wanted to like set yourself apart, which is cool. On the costume itself, if you're doing it by yourself, on average, how long does it take you to build it?
It can depend entirely on it. I mean, Superman with my friends at Quantum, we did that in like 5 evenings. Nightwing has been like a process of maybe even a year, just slowly affecting certain aspects.
Okay. What has been the most challenging aspect of the costume itself, or even like I think I've seen you posing with your Arisma sticks. What's been the most kind of challenging aspect? The part that you were looking at and just going
To be honest, it's never it's never bad because you try everything on before you take it out. It's just kind of getting used to the fact that you're going to be uncomfortable for the day, you're going to be hot for the day, you're going to be very miserable, but still happy on the outside.
One thing that every cosplayer is, like, we might have the biggest smiles in the world painted on our faces, but guaranteed inside we're screaming many words.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is the most difficult thing or character to cosplay as, both from the making of a costume and the acting side, in regards to both yourself and something that other people might do? So let's start with yourself. What's something that you would look at from a making of the costume point of view and just go, I can do that, but it might take me a while to actually fully do it, like the better part of maybe a year?
Oh, Jesus. Perhaps something like Iron Man armor. Perhaps I felt maybe if I devoted an entire year to doing that, maybe I could do it, but it seems like insurmountable at the moment. But people do that and do that fantastically. Yeah, it wouldn't be so hard to act because obviously my face is covered, but in terms of build, that would be crazy.
Okay. And in regards to yourself from the acting standpoint, what's something that you would say, okay, I've got the costume for it, but I'm not quite sure how to act the character, so I might need to do a little bit more research before I even do that cosplay?
Probably a lot of anime cosplay, because I see a lot of anime cosplay that's really good but have no idea of the story or how the character would act. So perhaps that would be one for me. Yeah, perhaps an anime character I'd probably need to get right before I dressed up as him.
Awesome. So in regards to other people, what might be something that you would say to them if, let's say, for instance, I came to you and I said, okay, Grayson, I want to do an armoured build, but I have no prior knowledge on how to work with Warbler or plastics or whatever else is used within the kind of armour builds. What would be something you would advise me to do?
Spend some money on quite a bit of it, EVA or Warbler, whichever you wanted to do. watch a lot of YouTube videos, and don't be disenfranchised when you fail. Keep going with it.
Okay. Now let's say I come to you and I say, okay, Grayson, I have the most perfect costume for the Joker. Yeah? But I'm not quite sure how to act this particular character, and it's like really far out of my comfort zone, because like the Joker's a very loud character, you know, and let's say you know me to be very, very, very to myself and quiet. How would you advise me to become the Joker?
Wow, I would say spend time just becoming happy with the character by yourself in your mirror, and then just totally allow that to happen when you go outside. So you've got all these outside factors stopping you when you're you trying to be the character, but when you're alone you can fully express it, and just keep doing that until you're happy with it, then take that and don't stop doing that.
Awesome. There are many different types of Comic-Cons that we can go to throughout the year, both here in the UK and abroad. But they tend to fall into two categories: your big once-a-years and your smaller, more local ones. Now, the big once-a-years can be things like San Diego Comic-Con if you're over in the States, or London Film and Comic-Con over here in the UK, or even NCM here in the UK. And then you've got your smaller, more local ones that happen every, maybe say, 2 or 3 months. Which out of the two do you prefer going to? Do you prefer the big once-a-years or the smaller, more locals? Or do you like a blend of the two? And if so, why?
I like a blend of the two, because the big ones are they're good for the atmosphere and the craziness, and to meet a lot of people. But the smaller ones, you get to meet other cosplayers who you essentially don't get a lot of time with otherwise, and you get to spend more time with them, and they're kind of nice. You get to kind of meet your friends again, you know, people who you only meet at con, and then forge a friendship with.
Do you feel like myself that the bigger cons suffer from what I like to refer to as the New York minute? Like, you get the opportunity to meet somebody, but it's like, hi, how are you? Nice costume, bye.
Yeah, that is the long and short of it. They are just crazy busy, but that's a good thing. That shows that our subculture is attracting more and more people, which is a good thing. But yeah, you are reduced to kind of a New York minute.
It's no offense to anybody who lives in New York, but that's just how a con is.
Yeah.
It's in, do what you need to do, out. So when you've been going to these particular events, both large and small, or even medium-sized, because let's face it, there's the occasional medium-sized con that rolls around. What is the one thing that you're most excited for, and the one thing that either you used to or still kind of do on some level find the most nerve-wracking?
The thing I most love is physically suiting up completely before I start. I love that feeling. It's so childish, but I love it. The act of finally putting that suit on and stepping in, that's my favourite part.
Anything that you used to or still kind of do find most nerve-wracking about doing these events?
Taking it off to go to the toilet.
I can imagine that would be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I've been very lucky in the sense that whenever I've needed to go to the toilet, I've picked cosplays that allow me to do so, that I don't need to remove the entire thing to go to the toilet.
But if I was smart, I would have thought ahead.
In all honesty, I feel for people that are in like Iron Man suits and suits like your own, you know, that are fully armoured, and it's very difficult to either A, move, or B, go to the toilet.
Well, we would do it for the love. We just put up with it.
I feel for that. Like, I honestly do. I really do feel. What has been some of your more favourite experiences at Comic-Cons? Because obviously going as Nightwing, you'll get a lot of Nightwing fans or Batman fans even running up to you and being like, oh my god, Nightwing. So tell us about some of those experiences, like some of your favourites and some of your crazies and some of your, oh my god, did that just happen?
Well, Nightwing's a funny one because people either get it straight away and love it, or kind of not sure, even at Comic-Con, or like it's kind of just he's still like got a very cult following. Whereas Superman's great because children look at you and go, oh my god, it's Superman, which is such a lovely feeling. But I will say, with Superman, people like to do the thing, where you pick them up. So, which is fine. I don't mind. It makes a good picture, like picking people up. But a girl once just shouted, "It's Superman," and then jumped at me. Like there was no asking or anything. She just jumped at me. So I caught her out of instinct. But when I caught her, dropped my friend's phone and smashed it. So yeah, I mean it was fine. But if you want to be picked up, just don't launch yourself at me like horizontal.
I literally could understand that, and at the same time, it's so weird. I mean, it's okay when a little kid does it.
She was a girl. She was a full girl.
Yeah, but it's okay when a small young child does it.
Yeah.
But when full-grown adult, yeah, I can understand when you're like,
It's all right. I caught her. She was fine, but it was just like, I had the phone in the hand at the same time, and she was sorry. There was no bad blood, but it was like, oh my god.
Another reason why I always feel for people who do armor cosplays is that you guys sometimes don't have areas for pockets.
No.
So when a situation like that happens, it's like you either drop it or you quickly hand it at someone.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that you tend to love having around, like somebody that you could pass off a phone to? What is kind of slightly referred to as a handler.
To be fair, I've never had a handler. I've done it with my friends at Quantum, and usually one of us has some sort of pouch, or one of us is carrying everything at the time, or we do. One of us is kind of designated with a prop that will carry things. Yeah.
I remember doing a con this year that was really, really fun, and it was a very long con, but I was trying to figure out where I could place things on my person, because I was doing my version of the Suicide Squad Harley.
Okay,
How am I going to put things in my pocket? And I would need to move my arms in weird positions to get into my pocket. So I was like, I need a prop that I can just slip things into when I'm not using them.
Yeah.
And it's partly why I made my Jack in the Box, which we'll show when we get to the props section. And people loved that. They were like, oh my god, I love your Jack in the Box. And I'm like, really? No, I hate it. But it's useful and functional.
It's usually like an afterthought. You make the costume well, and then you're like, okay, now how do I carry stuff?
Okay, so what's been some of the kind of moments when you've been at cons where you just kind of were like, did that just happen?
It had a few people meltdown. That's kind of crazy. It's always nice when kids see you in costume, especially if you're with a good group and they just lose their mind. That's really nice. That's in a good way. Yeah, but nothing that's been too mad. Nothing that's been like that crazy. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. For me, one of my craziest things was an interaction with a celebrity.
Oh wow!
I was doing a gender bent Poison Ivy, which was in the middle of November.
Oh god! Bro,
yeah,
good on you.
Yeah. Probably not the best time to do a gender bent poison anything, because obviously Poison Ivy, lack of clothing. So
yeah.
In November, not the warmest month of the year in the UK.
No.
So I'm frozen most of the day, and I'm like thinking, oh my god, if I get any more cold, I'm just gonna start breaking out into song. Yeah? And you all know the song I'm meaning.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I have this iGame business card and Sean Astin is here. And the iGame group that I'm a part of, we're doing a tabletop role-playing session that's set in the world of the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And I know that it would mean a lot to them if I went to him and gave him the business card and told him about the show. So it was at the end of the day, and I just kind of went back up to where the celebrities were, and he was still there signing autographs for the next day. And I approached, and the security guy's like, "Oh, you can't go up, he's done for the day, you'll need to come back tomorrow." And I'm like, "I'm only here today, and I just want to give him this business card and go home. I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm frozen. It's going to take me 5 hours to defrost." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, he's done for the day, and I'm like, "Look, can I give this business card to you, and you can give it to him?" He's like, "Oh, I can't do that." And I was like, "He's right there. It doesn't take 5 minutes for you to walk across and just hand him the card." And he obviously hears this commotion, so he calls me over, and I'm like, just like, "Yeah." The security guy, like, "Yeah, screw you." So I walk over and I say, "Look, I know you're tired. I know you're probably hungry. I know you probably want to go and speak to your family via some social network or something. I just want to go home because I'm tired. I've been here since 9 o'clock as well. All I want to do is give you this business card," and I hand him the business card and say, "There's a little show on there that we're doing that's based in the world of the Lord of the Rings, and it would really mean a lot to the other members of the little group that you have at the very least said that you were going to go and listen to it." I don't know if he actually did. Normally he's quite good, Sean Astin, at things like that, interaction with the fans. So he's signing, like, he's still signing autographs away, and he kind of like looks up at me and then looks back down and kind of starts signing away and says to me, "So what's your story then?" I look down at myself like this and go, "Oh crap, I'm still in costume." And say, "Well, I'm what happens when Poison Ivy has a one-night stand."
That's a good answer, to be fair.
Yeah.
Fault on your feet, good.
And the sheer fact was that it was just so, like, such a gut reaction for me to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's tired, I'm tired. He's probably in a mood, I'm in a mood. You know, I've spent all day adjusting Ivy on my arms and on my legs, so... Yeah, you get a sarcastic answer. It made him laugh, so...
No, it's quick thinking, it's good. People remember wit.
So yeah, there's little things like that, and I'll always remember my first interaction with a little kid when I did my classic Harley Quinn. He ran up to me after screaming Harley. Now there was quite a few Harleys there that day, and I just thought, oh, he's screaming at some girl who's dressed as Harley, not me. And I just kept walking. And the next thing I feel is these little arms wrapping around my legs, and I was like, holy crap, I'm being attacked. I know it's a little kid. He's so excited to see me. He gets his picture taken with me, and he's like slightly hugging me as I'm like crouched down next to him getting the picture taken. And as I'm getting back up, he grabs me by the hand and says, "Now you have to do something for me." And I'm like, "I've taken a picture with you. What else do you want, child?" And he's like, "You tell Batman if the Joker hurts you." And that just floored me. Like, it floored me. This child was only like, what, maybe 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
So really young.
Yeah.
And it floored me completely, and I'm like looking around, I'm looking at his dad, and I'm like, what? And his dad's just like, and it scared me that he understood that relationship between the Joker and Harley.
But it's a thing that at least it taught him that he knew it was kind of wrong as well, or that it hurt them. Yeah, I think that's some children do understand things beyond what people think.
It scared me to begin with, but as I thought about it, I was like, that's really, really awesome that he's understood that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I was doing a photo shoot later on, and it's with the guy who's dressed as the Joker, and he's just basically laying his hand there on me. And this same little kid sees him, and he's like, at the guy being Joker, and I'm like, no, he's not joking me, I promise. He's just pretending. It's just with that man with the camera. He wasn't happy about it, but I reassured him. Have you had much interactions like that with children yourself, or have you had different interactions with them?
Because when I'm Nightwing, the mask that I put on kind of freezes my face into a bit of a scowl. So children are kind of a bit wary of me. But children love Superman. They love Superman. And it's nice to be able to interact back with them. And like, some of them want to be picked up. Some of them can't wait to stand beside you. And it's really good. It's really nice. I do like it. I wish I had just one standout story, but I don't. They always just seem to love that.
Well, Superman did.
Yeah.
So, when you've been at these particular events, like myself, have you taken part in the cosplay masquerades, or if you're in the US, cosplay competitions? And if so, what was running through your mind when you were going up on stage?
I actually never have. We've been asked to before, but I've never actually competed in one. It's literally, like I said, I've only really been doing it a short while, and I'm just doing it because I enjoy it. Perhaps this year I'll start one, and I'll see how I feel.
It's always really good to go up and do those kind of things, because whether or not you win or not is not important. It's
no,
the
of course
taking
not.
part. But it also gives you an opportunity to perform a little bit on stage. And coincidentally, going back to the year when I did Poison Ivy, they always ask you when you sign on to do it if you want the mic to speak for a second or two. And the order is, you go up, you pose, you do your skit, and then you pose again, and then you come off. I went up, posed, did my skit, and then put the microphone down and left. And as I'm walking back up the stairs to go to where I was sitting, I was like, I forgot to do something. And then it didn't dawn on me until about 9 o'clock that night. I didn't pose at the end.
There you go.
So always remember to pose. Cosplay tip 101. Always remember to pose.
Strike the pose.
Strike a pose. So I think that would be a great thumbnail. Just
Yeah. Just like.
Likewise to that, have you guys ever been, have you in particular ever been asked to judge a cosplay competition?
I never have. I would, I mean, definitely I would say yes, but one of the other things is, well, there's hundreds of other cosplayers out there who are way more talented than I am, so I feel bad, but I know that it's just, the judging thing is more of just, they need someone to judge.
The judging thing, a lot of people that I've spoken to that have done it say that they're always thankful that there are at least 2 other judges with them.
Yes.
And in that case, they say it takes a crap ton of pressure off of them, because they're always really worried, because they're like yourself, they think, oh, I'm not good enough to be a judge because I'm not as skilled in this particular area of costume making, or I'm not skilled as a makeup artist, or I'm not skilled as this. And
that'd be exactly it. I feel like I was judging someone more talented.
Yeah, like having those 2 other people that are slightly more skilled in that area, putting all 3 of these people together makes up the perfect cosplayer, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I just think that's always really, really good, and it's a good thing that we work together, and it's a democracy, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, so my next question for you is, in your opinion, what are 3 of the best things that you can do when you're getting ready to go to a cosplay event, as well as 3 of the worst things that you can do when you're getting ready to go to a cosplay event? And this is just in general, like what your thoughts are for that. So what are 3 of the best things that you can think of that anyone should do when they're getting ready to go to these kind of events?
3 of the best things you should do is, for one, you should definitely find out where the after party is happening later, because that's a must. 2, you should 100% go out of your way to socialise in a polite manner. Like, obviously don't try and force your way in there, but socialise in a polite way when everybody's resting and like chilled out afterwards. And the 3rd one I would say is definitely get caught up in the hype, like the whole buzz of the atmosphere. Definitely be allowed to allow yourself to be caught up in that hype.
Okay.
3 of the worst is if you forget something in your cosplay. That's definitely one of the worst. 2 is getting drunk. Don't get drunk, because it spoils your next day if your con's going for a whole weekend. Honestly, don't. Drink, but don't get out of your nut.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Yeah, never again. And 3, try and avoid any drama. That's something no one needs any more of. I would say that's a pretty sound advice.
It's coincidental that you say that, because like when I first started cosplaying myself, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of drama, so to speak, in the cosplay community. But now that I've been in said community for a little bit longer, I can see where some pieces of drama are kind of like there, and I always tend to like go the opposite direction of it and just go, well, I don't care.
A lot of it is inescapable.
I think I've been extremely lucky because I don't get to go to as many cons as I would like to, so therefore I don't get involved with the drama side as much. And even when drama does rear its ugly head, I just say, look, I'm on a schedule, I do a lot of filming, so unless it's something extremely life-threateningly important, I don't care.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to be. That's a good way to handle it.
Definitely. So let's talk about age differences in cosplay. So when I first started cosplaying, as I've mentioned, I didn't necessarily know what to expect age group wise. I automatically thought, okay, it's going to be early teens to mid-30s age bracket wise, and I fit that age bracket. So I then decided, right, I need to try and do some research before going to my first con. So I did what I could, and a lot of my input was coming from America. And whenever I seen families in cosplays, it honestly looked as if it was just like mum, dad in costume with children on a staircase, and then possibly off to a fancy dress party afterwards. Not really cosplay as such. And whenever I did find anything in cosplay, it seemed to be more the age bracket that I was saying. So when I first went to Comic-Con and saw a whole range of different people, like babies who could not have been maybe a few months old, and then grannies and granddads and such likes that are 1 foot in the grave, so to speak. Nicest way I can put it, I have to admit. I was so shocked to see so many different age groups doing cosplay and various other things, and just generally hanging out with each other. When you first started, what was your impression of the age groups? Did you think a similar way to me? Did you think it's just going to be this age bracket, or did you just go, well, it could be anyone?
I must admit, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of guessed it would be my age group, but I was surprised. For me, you kind of do realise that if people like something, it doesn't really matter what age they are. They're going to enjoy it. It's just you are part of a fandom now, and if you enjoy it, you can enjoy the same thing you enjoyed at 17 that you will probably enjoy like at 63. It's just if it speaks to you on some level, you will continue to enjoy it. So I must admit, I was a bit surprised, but I get it. I get why there is such a varied age range.
I think the one thing that I always remember for that is again, I'm referencing the same goddamn year. Poison Ivy again. And
Yeah.
I'm in the queue waiting to go up on stage. And in front of me, there was this family group doing the Ministry of Magic from Harry Potter.
All
And you
right.
had the two little kids dressed up as two characters, and then what I'm assuming is possibly mum with them, or big brother, who was roughly closer to my own age. And then you had granddad doing it as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's just fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
So it's always good to see things like that. And obviously at that particular con as well, I seen a little baby who could only have been a few months old dressed as a hobbit.
Getting them young.
Yeah. So it just goes to show anybody can cosplay. Cosplay literally is for anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Touching more on the age differences thing, you've mentioned that Superman is really popular with the children. Did you see that coming at all? Did you think, oh, kids are really going to love Superman, or was it a complete shock to you?
You know what? I kind of guessed that children would like Superman more, because no matter what age you are, if you like superheroes, at some point or another, you would have been introduced to Superman. He's kind of he's a bannerman for it. You know, it makes sense that maybe more pre-teens, teenagers, young adults would be interested in Nightwing, because you get Nightwing once you've learned a bit about Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of knew where it was going with Superman, but that doesn't make it a bad thing at all.
No.
I think it's a bit more.
Sorry, did you specifically choose Superman as a cosplay to
Not
get in
no.
touch with the kind of younger generation?
Not at all. Once I'd done Nightwing, the group I do it with, we'd spoke about different ones we were going to do, and we were all going to continue doing DC. And my friend kind of said to me, "You should do Superman." And I'd never really been interested in the character at all. And I thought, you know, if I'm going to do Superman, I'm going to do him well, and I'm going to read about him. And he gave me a few comics, like good Superman comics, and now I'm a fan as well.
Awesome.
I'm genuinely a fan as well, yeah.
Awesome. Is there any particular cosplay that you maybe got planned that is specifically geared towards a younger age group?
I don't know. I suppose...
Or have you ever done one that's kind of slightly geared towards a younger generation?
I don't think I've ever really considered as in gear. I only do characters that I think are okay, or I think are good. So maybe you could say I plan to do a lot more, and I plan to do a few more that may be geared towards younger audiences, but none that would be specifically for children, I suppose.
Right. Do you agree with those kind of parent groups that say, oh, you should never dress your child up and force them round a Comic-Con because that's just unruly, blah, blah, blah?
No, I think if you should always ask the child what they want to do, but as I've got friends who asked the child if they wanted to go to Comic-Con, and the child said yes and had a really good time dressed up. I think the key is just asking, like they always ask their child, do you want to be in this photo? Do you want to pose? And the child will go, yeah, and have a thing and say, yeah. If the child wants to do it, then yeah, go ahead.
I can honestly say that those kind of focus groups that talk about dressing your child up and how it's wrong and all the rest, go take a running jump. Seriously, because...
I was wondering what you were going to say after that.
I was kind of tempted to say a few things.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, having worked in an area where I've dealt with a lot of different age groups and children in particular, if you pull out a dressing up box, guaranteed that thing is empty within 2 seconds of you taking off the lid. Kids love dressing up.
People are very quick to find offence in things when there usually is none.
Exactly. So take your kids to Comic-Con; they'll probably have more fun than you. Yeah,
probably. If your kid is going to enjoy going Comic-Con, ask them, and if they say yes, take them.
Definitely. Okay, so moving along from different age groups. Well, actually, there's one more question on age groups. Do you tend to use your age to your advantage when doing a cosplay?
I don't know. I suppose I kind of do cosplay people who I could get away with.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't think age would stop me from cosplaying someone else. I think I'd find a way to get around it. There's makeup. There's things I would get around. Yeah, there's ways I would play any age.
Awesome. Because obviously we are both in the UK, and whenever we go to a Comic-Con event, there's guaranteed to be somebody there from Doctor Who.
Mm.
And I personally think that's fantastic, because obviously we're the country of origin for Doctor Who, and
Yeah.
we proudly show off something that we're proud of making and exporting to the world. But I think it's also fantastic because there's so many generations within Doctor Who. There's so many different Doctor Whos. And obviously when we're talking about age differences within cosplay itself, it gives us here in the UK something to cosplay as once we reach a certain age. We can go, oh, well, I'm this age now, so I can do this character from Doctor Who, or the Doctor himself.
Mm.
And I just think that's fantastic. And the celebrities that are from that generation of Doctor Who, or who know that generation of Doctor Who, get a kick out of it as well. They're like, oh, you're dressed like me! Wonderful! So yeah, it's always really cool to see stuff like that. Okay, so moving along to props. The one thing that every cosplayer both loves and hates at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So props fall into two categories for me. It goes to a Comic-Con, it goes to a photo shoot only. And then 3 subcategories. It's so big it breaks my back, and I can't figure how to get it out of my house, let alone to a Comic-Con or photo shoot. 2, it's medium size, doesn't break my back, and I can easily remove it from my house. But will annoy me after maybe 7 hours. And then 3, this prop is so nice and small and compact, it fits in my pocket or my bag, and I'm good to go. Now, obviously, all props depend on what cosplay you're doing, but when you're doing a particular cosplay, like Nightwing, for instance, what variation in prop size do you tend to go for? Do you go for the larger props, the medium props, or the smaller props when you're doing a photo shoot versus a Comic-Con?
Well, for me, I had the only really there's a slight difference in size for my Christmas sticks, and my Christmas sticks are just foam practice martial arts ones, which are lucky because they're black. So because they're foam, they'll get into a con, but because they're black, they also look good for a Photoshop. So I've never really had an issue there. I did have a friend who had a trident for his cosplay. It was Aquaman. It was Quantum Cosplay. Another shout out to Quantum Cosplay. And he put the trident in pieces, because sometimes they are a bit funny about something, even if it is made out of plastic. But we took it in pieces, so you can get around security that way. But me, I've never really had an issue with props.
For anybody who is having an issue with props, or thinks that they might have an issue with props, guys, go along to the social media page for your Comic-Con event and just check their rules and regulations under their FQA, and that will give you as much information as you can possibly get on what they're allowing and what they're not allowing. Obviously, after things that have happened over in the States and some that have happened here in the UK, the rules are getting slightly stricter.
Yes, they are.
So it's always a good idea, and if you can't find said information, just ask somebody that's going, that might know. So when it comes to your Christmas sticks, have you A, made them yourself, B, bought them in and customized them, or C, bought them fully made, or all of the above?
Well, because Nightwing just has essentially just 2 plain batons in the comics, I just bought mine from literally a martial arts store. Like, you can even get them in JV Sports. They're literally just foam sticks. Yes, there was nothing to make there. And the foam as well helped me just get them into con, because if something's made of foam, they don't really care that it's in there.
Right. Did you alter them in any way?
No, not really. I was kind of the right size for them and in my hand, so I didn't need to cut anything off or take anything down. They fit me perfectly.
Awesome. So, have you made any props from scratch before?
No, I've never made any props because obviously Superman doesn't wield anything. Nightwing was my Christmas stick, so I haven't got into prop making yet, really.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about your creation process, and not necessarily for props, but maybe something similar, like a piece of, like your shoulder piece on Nightwing, because we've got Nightwing just in the background on you.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to make? If you made it by yourself, or did somebody else?
A lot of help with Quantum Cosplay and blueprints from like the templates from a guy called Eris Armories. So he sold like the templates for it, and then it's put together with EVA foam. So the actual thing didn't take that long, like a few hours. But sorry, I'm just plugging you in so I don't lose any battery. But it's really refining it. So I spent a few years like refining how it works better. So at first it was attached with foam. Now it's attached with clips. In fact, I can show you if you want.
Yeah.
Just take it over there. So you see that?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah. So at Quantum again, we changed that so that now it clips on. And it has more movement, and it's painted, and put PVA over the top so it doesn't crack. But that's trial and error stuff again.
Wow. So I'm going to take you through one of my favourite props that I now have, which is this lovely little guy.
Jack in the box. Jack in the box.
There you go.
Back. Thank you. Sorry.
So this little guy, completely made of a couple of things. We have cardboard for the box itself. I think this is styrofoam for the head. A little bit of packaging with felt, and some pins to hold in his button eye, and to hold him to the box itself.
Yeah.
But it is all completely con-friendly. There's nothing that could severely injure anyone, minus the actual pins itself. Hold on. Yep. We even have a little Joker sticker there to act as the top of the box when the Jack is in the box itself.
Totally fits in with Harley's character as well. It's
totally
really cool.
Does.
Yeah.
I took inspiration predominantly from the Arkham Knight game when she has
of course, a
Jack in the box. The only thing I don't have is obviously the little wind up part, because I couldn't figure out where to stick that in on the box, and I'm like, it doesn't need it.
No, it looks good.
But I love this prop, and it is functional. But it's also one of the props that drove me mad, because I was spending so long trying to figure out how to do the head and to obviously work on the box itself. And the little red outlines I've got on the box here kept kind of like peeling off. And I'm like, no, I need you to stick on. Please stick on. So that was a little bit insane.
Yeah.
It's worked out well, and it's functional because I can keep anything I need, like my cell phone in here. My business cards can all be kept in here, and Jack's head fits in here when I don't want him on the box itself. So
really good idea.
All functional, all fantastic, and people love it.
Yeah.
But it drove me mad. Which was kind of helpful. It was kind of helpful being Harley, so... Okay, so my next question for you is, what opportunities has cosplay opened up for you away from being in costume?
You know what? I actually live now with people who I met through cosplay. Like, I live in London with people who I met in cosplay, and a few of them are doing really, really exciting things, like really interesting things, even going beyond cosplay, like in prop and costume making. I can't reveal what their projects are, but they are really interesting. I mean, and my other roommate, who else I live with, edits films. I mean, it's opened up a real avenue, because you don't realise it, but there are a lot of people who are in cosplay. There's a very few of them who do really creative, interesting things outside of cosplay as well.
It's kind of like what I was saying, the drama for yourself,
Mm.
when we spoke about that. I mean, a lot of people are always asking me, what con are you going to? When are you going to this con? Are you coming to this con? And it's like, you do realise that on top of me doing inside cosplay, I do multiple other things.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so my game table just doesn't exist, you know, the way I want it to.
No, of course not.
But what would be some of the things that you've been presented with? Like, essentially, it's coming from cosplay, but it's not essentially involving cosplay. Like, you got to this opportunity because of you doing some kind of cosplay meet.
Well, one of the best opportunities I got was to do a lot of charity work with Great Ormond Street Hospital because of my cosplay stuff, which was really, really nice. It was a great thing to do, and I had such a great time doing it, and that would have never have happened had I not dressed up. You know, they asked, would you come and dress up for Great Ormond Street? And I said, yes, of course.
Awesome. What has been one of the more interesting things that have happened to you because of cosplay?
I don't know. I couldn't pick out one. My life has become a lot more interesting because of it. It seems like people, like I get a lot more attention and questions on my Instagram page than I ever did on my normal Instagram page. Yeah, I think it's just kind of made my life more. And I have a Saraha. The Saraha's a thing where you can leave like anonymous questions, and people leave very interesting anonymous questions on my Instagram Saraha page now.
What would be an example of one?
So on one side of the things, people want to know general stuff like what I do, how I do it, how tall I am, blah blah blah. But on another side, one person asked me if I would ever consider being a prostitute for them. So everything in between. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say right now and then, guys, cosplay is not prostitution.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we might look slutty from time to time, but it doesn't mean to say that we stand on street corners.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I guess it was flattering, funny. But yeah.
Hilariously funny, flattering, and a little insulting all at once.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question for you is, who are you going to be? Like, who are your next 3 cosplays going to be? So the next person that you're cosplaying at the next event, somebody that you're working on that we might see later in the year, like it's in the process of being either made or built, and somebody that we might see, somebody that you're thinking of for end of 2018, possibly beginning of 2019. So somebody that's the thought processes are kind of slightly ticking on. So who are you going to be for your next cosplay at your next event?
So my next cosplay is Cos Expo at Reading, and I've just finished the detail on my Superman boots, so I'll be Superman there.
Awesome.
The one you'll see in May, Comic-Con London, is Nightwing, who I've been working with Creative Vault, and they've churned out something incredible, and that's who I'll be. I'll be Nightwing, their version of Nightwing, and it's incredible. And maybe at the end of 2018, I'm thinking I might go with my first like outside DC comic cosplay. So I might do like an anime thing, or I might do just a television thing. I don't know yet, but it's going to be something different.
Awesome. So my last question before we do the Passover and tell various people where they can get a hold of us is, what advice would you give to somebody who is new to cosplay but doesn't know where to start?
I would say get some friends around you who are just as impassionate, maybe not in cosplay, but maybe impassionate about the comic side or the gaming side. Go with them and just have a good time. And then after that, go on, if you still really enjoy it, go on the internet, see all like the tutorials, the walkthroughs if you really want to get like something incredible built, and just stick at it. because honestly, it's a really, really good hobby to have, and not a lot of people have this sort of hobby.
I'm also going to jump in there and say it can be quite expensive at times, guys.
It can, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's always a good idea to price what you need. And don't despair if something that you need to make a costume is a little bit expensive, because you can find another way around it.
Yeah. There's always something that looks like something else.
Exactly.
Always.
Like, I recently was considering doing a gender bent Black Canary cosplay, and I was like, oh crap, that's a lot of leather, and leather is not cheap. However, at a local fabric shop close to where I live, there is big rolls of lookalike leather fabric, and it's as cheap as hell. Yeah,
Fabrics are a godsend.
they are. And they're the most helpful people in fabric shops, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they get really interested as well when you say, oh, I'm doing this
Yeah, of
costume.
course.
And they're like,
they're
how can
they're
I
artistic
help?
people themselves, yeah. So they want to know.
Do you know the best of it? I was making cuffs for my Suicide Squad Harley Quinn to give it the kind of feel, obviously, of the classic look as well. And as I told one of the people in the fabric shop, they're like, oh, how are you gonna do it? Can I help? And I'm like, if you want, you can do it for me. You know? But anywho, so guys, if you have any further questions for myself or UK Grayson, I think there's like, oh my gosh, do you see that, Grayson? There's like a comment section down there. Oh! I also just dropped my controller. That's terrible.
That's one hell of a comment section.
Yeah, that's one hell of a comment section that makes you drop your controller. But there is a comment section down below us, guys. Do leave either myself or UK Grayson a question, and we will do our very best to answer it. Also, give us a thumbs up, because we have our
definitely do.
thumbs. And
Yeah.
there is a subscribe button there too, where you can see all of the content that happens on my channel, both Inside Cosplay and my new show Behind the Mask, where I talk to real live superhero celebrity people who have worked with the one and only Stan Lee.
Wow.
So go and check that out, as well as all of my gaming content where I play games like Injustice 2 and the majority of Telltale games, and a few other games that will be coming in the future. However, if you want to find me, you can find me on this lovely little website called iGameOnline.net. We do have a Facebook and a YouTube page, guys, where you can catch up with some of our other shows, like our MERP series or our lovely Dragonlance series, which is filmed live with the wonderful Faye. Also, guys, iGame is a free website that you can go and join, and there are multiple other things on there that happen. You can catch up with me by checking out the casting page and just going to my Jai button. You can get me on the Instagrams on through the iGame, as well as my Facebook page through the iGame as well, and sometimes my YouTube page. So if you're not already on the YouTube, well, that's where to find it. Likewise, though, there is many different cosplayers on the website, so you can speak with the wonderful Alpha Betty, who does amazing Skyrim cosplays, guys. So do check him out. The amazing Kobe Kicks, and the wonderful Little Rascal, and the always amazing Tunafel. So go check them out, guys. Also check out the other cosplayers in this playlist. Some people like, oh, I don't know, Chris Villain and Titan Cosplay, as well as the aforementioned group of Alpha Betty, Tunafel, Little Rascal, and Kobe Kicks, and many, many more. So go check all of them out. They're amazing, guys. But, however, if you have a question for UK Grayson, but you don't necessarily want to put it in that chat, why the hell not? Grayson is now going to give us some wonderful links where we can officially contact him and ask him any questions, or even just go along and give him a like or a follow. So, UK Grayson, where can we get a hold of you if we have any further questions?
Well, thank you. So you can get a hold of me at UK Grayson. That's UK_Grayson on the Instagram page. Also, my friends at Quantum Cosplay on Instagram. But if you fancy just asking me a question completely anonymous, on my Instagram page, I have a Saraha link highlighted. Go on to that, and that's Saraha at UK Grayson Cosplay, and you can ask me anything, and I will answer it.
Awesome. Now, don't worry, guys, if you missed any of that, or if there are any other links that UK Grayson tends to give me when I'm finished editing this, they will be in the description of this video. So go along, follow UK Grayson, tell him I sent you, say hello.
You do.
Definitely follow him, because, like, he needs to follow us, guys.
Yes, guys, come on.
He's all lonely.
It's hard out here. It's hard out here for a solo Nightwing.
He's all lonely and he needs some follows.
Exactly.
But definitely go along and support him, and if you do see him at Comic-Cons, don't be afraid to say hello to him.
Definitely come and say hello. Definitely come and say hello and grab a picture.
Awesome. In the meantime, guys, I've been Jai452. UK Grayson has been UK Grayson. This has been Inside Cosplay, and we will be back with another interview really soon. Bye,
Later.
guys.